joining us as we kick off the new year. So happy New Year as well. Here we're still in the early on in 2023. We look forward to this spring series of Lunch and Lead as we continue to add more of these events to the calendar. So as Sheila mentioned, Lunch and Lead is a virtual speaker series. This is now, I think, our fourth season doing this. So she shared a little bit about that. So I want to dive right into our topic today, starting off the year really discussing mentors and sponsors and what that looks like. That mentorship and sponsorship are both professional relationships in which each person does have a clearly defined role. And so with our guest today and later in the conversation, we'll talk about some of the intricacies and differences between what mentoring someone and sponsoring someone looks like. But before I do that, I wanted to really get to know our guest and introduce Ms. Chareice White. She is our distinguished guest to help kick off the year. So we're excited to hear from you, Chareice. Chareice is the Regional Business Development Officer for the Community Investment Fund of Indiana, located in Hammond. She promotes CIFI in the Northwest region of Indiana, providing business development services to clients and helps businesses prepare their requests for financing. She's a recognized community leader, having been awarded the Advocate for Youth Entrepreneurship by the Northwest Indiana Small Business Development Center for her contribution to youth entrepreneurship, which also leads into her other role. She's the founder and chairman of the board for the ECIER Foundation, which provides a structured educational program empowering youth to become innovative entrepreneurs. And under the direction of Ms. White, the foundation has provided scholarships to high school seniors, and presently the foundation has college graduates. So Chareice, thank you for joining us. I would say beyond that, just want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself a little more formally. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do and kind of how you got to where you are today. Tell us about your kind of your leadership journey to these roles.
Well, thank you for having me, and Happy New Year to everyone that is on the call. As you had mentioned, I am the Regional Development Officer for Community Investment Fund for Indiana, and we provide loans for small businesses. And I've been in a position to be able to help businesses be able to help kickstart their business. Something with my, okay, all right, to kickstart their business. So, really excited last year, our organization received some money from Lake County Economic Development, and it was for 115 businesses to receive a $5,000 grant. And those businesses not receive funding from COVID. So it was a great way to be able to mentor and sponsor and help guide them through the process of all the documentation that was needed. So you can say I had 115 new friends last year. And then with the foundation, what I do is I'm really, really excited to share with everybody. This year, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary. So we have students that are in middle grade school, high school. We have college graduates. We have alumni. And it's just a great, rewarding feeling to being able to provide opportunities for our youth. And then last is I am a photojournalist for the Times newspaper. So every Sunday I feature a celebrity and society column in the Times. So those are the hats that I wear.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And I know most recently you were recognized with the ISBDC and the E-Day Awards for Youth Entrepreneurship, but I see some other hardware there behind you. You were sharing with us earlier. So you were the Influential Woman of the Year a number of years ago, and obviously continue to collect recognition for the work you do. So really appreciate you, tell us a little bit more about what it is you do here in the community. So before we dive into the topic, and I pass this over to Makisha to lead that conversation, we know that leadership is not always easy, right? There's some often obstacles or challenges that get in the way of not only growing leaders, but certainly established leaders as well. So can you talk a little bit about that as far as any obstacles or challenges that you've experienced over the years and what you've been able to do with that?
My situation is a little unique. I really have not incurred any major challenges. I've always been on the end of not receiving, but helping other people that have gone through challenges. Any way that I can lead and direct them, I have done that. But me personally, major challenges in reference to leadership, I have not had any issues with. So that's really a blessing. But being able to help others with their challenges and be able to lead and guide and direct them, I have been in the position to do that.
Okay, perfect. Now that's great to hear. And so that obviously cues right into how you are now helping mentor and lead others here in the community. So I'm going to introduce my colleague, Makisha Richardson. As Sheila mentioned, Makisha is the assistant director here at the Leadership Institute at Purdue Northwest, and she's going to take over from here to dive into mentorship and sponsorship with you. Chareice, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Jason. Thanks so much. Chareice, thank you so much again for joining us today, agreeing to meet with us to talk about what I think is a really important topic, mentorship versus sponsorship. And before we dive into the topic, I want to talk really quickly about how we came up with this topic for today. Last year in September, we did a women's conference where we invited women across the region to come out and celebrate the greatness of womanhood with each other. And one of our speakers during that conference was Dr. Amanda Zelahusky. And she actually spoke about the difference between having a mentor and having a sponsor. And before then, I had never even heard of the term. Well, of course, I know what a sponsor is, but I never thought about it in those terms. I have had, gratefully, lots of mentors during my career, but when she explained the difference, it really made me think back on my experience, and I realized that I actually did not have a lot of mentors. I actually had several sponsors. And so we want to talk really quickly about what the difference is. So mentors are people who help to grow our individual skills, right? They listen to our challenges and they offer their perspectives. But sponsors are individuals who will talk about you when you aren't in the room. These are the individuals who will argue your case, and they serve as your advocates, right? Recently read an article in the Harvard Review on diversity and inclusion. It was written by Rosalind Chow, I believe. And she talked about the difference between mentorship and sponsorship. And she described it as mentorship focuses on help that a mentor can provide directly, such as guidance, advice, feedback on skills, and coaching. Sponsorship, on the other hand, entails externally facing support, such as advocacy, visibility, promotion, and connections. Seeing sponsorship as a three-way relationship between sponsors, proteges, and audiences clarifies the difference between it and mentorship. So I want to dive right in and talk about, I want to first start with, because you've had like a very eclectic career, and it sounded like you had a charmed career, because you just mentioned that, Chareice, you didn't face lots of obstacles along the way. So I want to talk first about who has inspired you, or who has served as a mentor or a sponsor for you.
I would say my career really took off when I worked for Majestic Star Casino. I worked for the company for 17 years. I started my own business, and the casino was my client for 3 years. And I worked very close with the owner, the late Don H. Barton. He passed away, and he was the only African-American that owned 4 casinos. He was a great mentor for me. I had an opportunity to be a mentor and a sponsor for some of our team members who needed advice. They needed someone to talk to. They needed someone to listen. And I also was a mentor and sponsor for some of the businesses in the areas of the casinos that we owned. So, of course, in Gary, and then we owned the casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, Black Hawk, Colorado, and Tunica, Mississippi. But Mr. Barton was a really very good inspirational mentor for me.
So can you explain how or why he was such a good mentor for you? Like, can you maybe give us a couple examples of some times where you felt sponsorship from him?
He taught me a valuable lesson in business, such as how to strategize effectively, coaching, continuing to build relationships. And along the way, I was able to teach him some things as well, too. But being able to learn from him, I was very blessed to be in that position. A person who owns 4 casinos in 12 years equaled him being a billionaire. So learning from a billionaire and over the period of time. And I was promoted within the company for years, and I had an opportunity to be the director of community relations for all 4 of our casinos. So it allowed me to be able to go meet people, be able to provide some mentorship and some sponsorship for, again, our staff across the country, as well as various businesses across the country.
Good. So you mentioned that you actually served as a sponsor and a mentor for others as well. Can you maybe describe your philosophy or your general thinking on the difference between the two? A mentor or a sponsor?
So for me, being a mentor is being able to help provide some direction and insight for people who are in need and asking for advice and resources. And then the sponsor being able to help companies, they were in need of some funding and they needed to know what direction that our company could help them. So I was able to guide and direct and lead and tell them what that was needed, even being a sponsor plus sponsorship. And when you have sponsorship, when you are providing sponsorship for businesses or for companies or for events, you want to get the best bang for your buck. So what is it that you receive as a sponsor? You receive media exposure, print, radio, seating. Are you going to get a chance to take pictures with celebrities? So it follows under all of that. So I was in a position to be able to help both ways, mentor, sponsor, and sponsorship.
And just because I want to think about, because this is across the casino business, correct?
Correct.
So how would you say that your or the use of mentorship and sponsorship, both you receiving it and you giving it, how did that affect the culture of the casino business or the company that you were helping to run?
It allows the company to be able to make a difference within the community, because it's important that people in the community know what direction that we were coming in and how we can help. Of course, we're not, an open bank giving to all, but explaining. And we tried to rotate around. Some organizations received and some didn't, and we just had to rotate it around. But it was a great opportunity to be able to share information with them, being able to learn about them. They got a chance to learn about me. Another thing is I am the co-founder of an organization called DWIBI. It's Diverse Women in Business Initiative. And they're women that are locally that have their own business. And we have provided resources, provided some grants for those women, women that didn't ordinarily understand how to be able to reach out to others. So it was a great way that we networked with those women on a monthly basis, being able to mentor them when they had questions and they needed to know. We had a diverse group of women. We had a lady that was an electrician, a woman that owned her own beauty college. So it was a diverse group. So it was very rewarding to be able to help mentor and sponsor them so that they can understand what it is as they're growing their business in the region. And I'm glad that we did that, because some of those women didn't know each other. So bringing them together provided an opportunity for them to learn about each other as well.
So that sounds like a great networking experience as well. And also, to me, when I hear you talk, it sounds like you were a role model. I would consider you to be a role model for others. Do you consider yourself as a role model? And if so, why?
Absolutely. I see myself as a role model. I have a foundation, and it's called the ECIER Foundation, in which we empower students to become innovators and entrepreneurs. We have middle grade students and high school students, and I take pride in the opportunity of providing opportunities that they wouldn't ordinarily receive. For instance, former First Lady Michelle Obama gifted our students with 50 tickets during her first book tour, sold out at the United Center when she was being interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. And we took the students, they had no idea where we were going. We just told the parents we'd take them on a field trip. I sent a press release to all the media. First call I received was from Channel 9. They wanted to know because we chartered a bus. Well, wait, let me go back. So I sent, what happened was Robin Roberts had taken Michelle Obama to her school in Chicago. And she walked into this classroom and these little girls were doing modern dance. And when they turned around, Michelle Obama was in the room, they all bust out and started crying. And so Michelle Obama said that 10% of her book sales was going to charity. So I started thinking, well, we're charity. Could we participate? So I was able to find an email. I was able to track an email and I sent them a letter. And Michelle Obama's office called me. She said she liked what we were doing. And I had a whole laundry list. I wanted 50 tickets. I wanted breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever we could do with her. Well, and, transportation. So after they narrowed it all down, we received the tickets. And so I said, well, we can provide our own transportation. So that's when I started sending out a press release to the media and they start calling. The first call I received was Channel 9. They wanted to know, could they ride on the bus with us? And I said, absolutely. And then the other TV stations start calling and my girlfriend said, girl, all those people can't ride on the bus with you. She said, just have them at the United Center. When they get off the bus, they can interview the students. So Channel 9 rode on the bus with us and they asked me when was I going to share the information with the students because they didn't know. And he asked me, I said, well, when we get close to the United Center. And he said, well, can I cue you up because I want to cue it up on the 6 o'clock news. So as we got closer, I told the students, they started crying, they started calling their parents. And when they got off the bus, Channel 7 was on one side, Channel 5 was on another side. So it was a great media exposure day because since that was Michelle Obama's first book tour, they controlled the media coming into the United Center. So unfortunately, some of them were not able to go in. So we were the media, we were the hot spot for the night.
Oh, that's
so that is something that they ordinarily would not receive. And then the other one that I'm excited about is they have been producing their own television show. There's a host, there's a cameraman, they do everything. So last year I pitched it to some national shows and Good Morning America, GMA3 picked it up and they were featured on the show. And I talked to the producer the night before. I said, it's really important that I would like for you to say that these students at that time were from Gary, Indiana, because I want people around the world to know that we have educated students from Gary, Indiana. So of course, when she did the intro and she opened it up, the students, we had a viewing party and they got a chance to see. So it's a great way to be able to provide that exposure and it's unforgettable opportunities like that for our youth. So yes, I consider my a role model being able to teach and provide those opportunities for our youth. And it's not just Gary, it's Northwest Indiana now.
I mean, that is to me the definition, the very definition of absolutely a role model, but positively a sponsor. Because that was just an amazing story. I'm thinking about if I'm a young girl and I'm on a school bus and I'm thinking I'm just going on some random, were they teenagers?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, teenagers, no diss to teenagers, but you know how they can be with their little, mood swings and whatnot. But I'm on the bus. I don't know where I'm going. I've probably got a huge attitude. And then to find out that I am going to meet none other than the First Lady, because she's always going to be my First Lady, right? Michelle Obama, and then to be the media darlings, that was just an amazing experience for them, I'm sure. And I'm sure it was life-changing. I'm sure it was mind-altering for them as well. But you spoke a lot about your connections with the media and with different, I would say, local celebrities. That leads me to my next question for you. Could you write a weekly column for the Times called Chareice's Celebrity and Social Circle? Where I think first of all, I want you to talk to us a little bit more about what that is and what you do with that. And then next, I want to talk about the difference between influence and mentorship. But first, tell us more about your weekly column.
So it's fresh new. It's only been since August.
Okay.
I had a really good talk with Chareice White one day, who's a publisher, and I said, I can speak on behalf of me, and I feel I can speak on behalf of some other citizens. We just get tired of opening up the paper. Who got shot? Who got killed? There are other positive events and things that go on in Northwest Indiana, and it's not about just crime. And so I said, I have this idea I want to share with you. And he liked it. And he said, okay, well, let's do it. And you can have
no, I
call
learned
every.
it that way, like with her. I'm singing the.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Chareice, if you could unmute your phone. Pardon us, everyone, while we get the audio together.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I didn't realize that was me.
That's okay. So you were telling us about your column.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So so I just feel there's so many positive events that take place in Northwest Indiana, and they're not featured. And so that's my goal, is to go around and be able to highlight various positive events that take place, whether it's a concert or a chamber meeting. So anybody out there, you would like for us to cover it, we'll give you our email address, and we'd love to be able to come and highlight. And again, it comes out every Sunday. And I didn't know that I have a little following. Someone was calling me yesterday. They brought their paper to someone. They needed their friend to autograph it. I was like, oh my God. So it's a good way to be able to highlight. So I see some people on that have been in there, especially my good friend, Mr. John Davies. Hi, John. So, and Vanessa Allen. So it's just a positive way to be able to look at something else other than crime in the paper.
Amen
So,
to that. Yeah, we need to see that. So again, do you think there's a difference between influence and mentorship?
so
Or do you
yes.
think you go ahead?
Yes. So again, people that you are building relationships, and that's so important in life. It doesn't matter what job you go to, what career you have. Nobody, if you have to leave your Rolodex, you've built a relationship with people, and that's so important. So at some point, you have had an influence on that person or people to build a relationship. So you have influenced them in one way or another to be able to build that relationship. And then the other was, did you say mentor? What was the other one? I'm sorry. Mentor.
But I like what you just said. So that's kind of like, let's take a quick little turn there, because I like what you just said. You have to be able to build a relationship. Can you talk about the relationship building aspect of being a mentor or a sponsor? Because I go back to those teenage girls that you took on the field trip. They are not an easy group to reach. Once you reach them, you got them. They have to know that you are genuine. That's the first step. And I think that adults, if they have not overcome certain experiences from their past, they may be difficult to open up, right, to new people. But I think that being open is one of the key advantages, or one of the key components that are needed for you to receive mentorship and sponsorship. Because sometimes we can have a lot of pride, and we can see that as maybe being a handout. So can you talk to me about maybe a time where you mentored or sponsored someone who was maybe apprehensive in the beginning, and how you cultivated a relationship with that person?
Sure. So I do want to correct you, because it wasn't young girls. We had young men and young ladies that attended that.
Even better.
Two aspects, the youth and the adults, being able to mentor and being influenced to them. I want to go back to the women of DWI. When we first started with them, they didn't know us. We didn't know them, but we were trying to cultivate a relationship with them as we're growing to meet them on a monthly basis. So if someone came to me outside of the group and said, you know, Chareice, I really need some help. Could you help mentor me? I want to grow my business, and there are some resources that I don't have and then I don't know. So with my influence, with my resources, I can make a phone call and say, could you help such and such a person get whatever it is that they need? And it makes me feel good because I know that that business has been able to grow and be able to move forward. We have had, I've helped with some businesses that started in their home, in their basement, in their garage. Now they have expanded and moved to their own location, have a couple people that are getting ready to purchase their own building, and it's a diverse group of businesses. So that makes me feel good to say, you know what, here with my resources, with my influence, being able to mentor them and help them with their business, it allows them to grow. Now with our youth, when we started out, we've always had high school students, but I had a friend to come to me during COVID, and she said, Chareice, I have these wonderful students. We would love for them to be a part of your organization, and they would just be great. I said, okay, fine. And when she started talking to me, they were like in the 5th through 8th grade. I'm like, what is that? We don't. So I said, okay, we'll try. And of course, they were quiet. They were nervous. We didn't know them. They didn't know us. But as time has gone on, they have blossomed. They have opened up. We teach them a variety of things, financial literacy, being able to provide money for them, opening up bank accounts. They start out with a vision board. Just last week, we had them to do an entrepreneurship presentation. And because almost from inception, Chris White and the Times have been our partner. So his commitment to us is he hosts a workshop at the Times, teaching them about the business of publishing. And then his other commitment, he donates a suite at the Bulls game for the students. So you can only get so many tickets. And this year we have quite a few students. So that's what we did. We had them to put together an entrepreneurship presentation. We have about 35 students in the program. And I want you to know that they all did PowerPoint presentations. It was various ones on Sony and Spotify and BET. And so we selected the winners, and the winners got a chance. We hired a luxury shuttle, took them over to the game on Saturday. We brought the Bulls good luck. The Bulls won.
They won that game. I saw that game. Yeah.
They got a chance to go on the floor and take pictures. And then they were in a suite eating food. And Mr. Tom Sager, who is the editor publisher over at the Times now, hosted. So those are opportunities that they would not ordinarily receive. And so being able to be an influencer, being able to be a mentor, and being able to be a sponsor. And yesterday we meet with them twice. Well, we meet with them twice a month. We work with them on their projects, and then we take them to an entrepreneur's location, and then they produce their television show twice a month. So we met with them yesterday, and we said everybody is a winner, but you know, those that were not able to go to the Bulls game, we gave all of them a gift card. So still making them feel really good. But I do want to tell you, the initials and my foundation, it's CIFI. E is for educate, C is communicate, I is innovate, E is for entrepreneurs, and at the end, R is for relationships. And that's what we do, is build relationships.
It sounds like it. And I was about to say, I don't think we could have found a better person to talk to us today about mentorship and sponsorship, because it sounds like you are living it, you received it, and to me, that's part of our duty here on earth, right? So when we receive, it's only right that we give back, right? So whatever was planted in us is our job to be fruitful, to multiply. That doesn't just mean having kids. It means putting forth and putting back out the gifts and all the good stuff that was put in us, right? So that makes me wonder. We asked all of our guests the same question. We asked you about your leadership journey, how you started, how you got there, and where you are today. And you've done a fabulous job of sharing that with us. Thank you. We also want to know if you could go back to your younger self, pick any age, 14, 20, or however old you were when you started your career journey. If you could go back and give your younger self, little Chareice, a piece of advice, what would it be and why?
If I could go back and provide a small piece of advice, I would say to continue to make a difference in the lives of others, not expecting anything in return. And I know that my life has been blessed. I don't have any children, but I know it's God's way of blessing me to be a blessing to our youth plus to other people. And that's what it would be.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I don't have children either, but and that's why I put that piece in there about being fruitful and multiplying. That does not mean that, I don't want people who don't have children to think that, well, that doesn't apply to me. Absolutely, it does. It applies to all of us. And like I said, you and your life and your life's work has been an amazing, shining example of that. Which leads me to my next question. What do you hope your legacy to be?
My legacy is to continue to empower and educate our youth, continue to provide scholarships to educate our youth, being able to grow more innovators, entrepreneurs, and I'd like to have more college graduates and alumni a part of the group. It's all about the youth as they're growing. So that would be my legacy, is to take the foundation to the level of being able to inspire, provide unforgettable opportunities for them. And this is our 10th year. So I just want to share with everybody, August, we're having this big, fabulous weekend celebration. So come and celebrate with us.
Awesome. We're going to try to put that in the chat so everyone could have a link to that as well. But we have quite a few comments in the chat room for you. The first one is from Santina Johnson, sorry. She says, can you please restate the name of your business? I'm a high school teacher who is looking for additional resources to inspire my students. Many of them would benefit from exposure to business owners that look like them. Oh, that's a key component there. So can you just share the name of your business one more time?
That I work with, or my foundation? Is two separate. Which one is she speaking of? The foundation?
She's probably talking about the foundation. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's ECIER, and we do have a website. The name is ECIER Foundation, ECIER, and you can go to our website. It's www.ecier.org.
We're going to try to put that in the chat as well for everyone, so you can have the copy. Santina, if you can raise your hand or you can unmute, hopefully that answers your question, or if you had anything else to share.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that information, and I enjoyed your presentation. Sorry, my students are coming in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Santina. And we this is one of the reasons why we really started to do this, the Lunch and Lead. I know it started with COVID, so that we can still have a sense of community and network with each other over a meal the way you would normally, right? So it's trying to just put some normalcy back into life. But I believe it has really evolved into a forum or a place where we can learn from each other, we can grow with each other, we can build our networks in the region. And this has been fantastic. I can't say it enough. Someone left a comment, Jean Isham. She says, Chareice not only mentors youth, but adult women as well. And you spoke about that too. And it's one thing for us to toot our own horns, but when we have other people who are speaking up for us, I think that just speaks a multitude. So let's see. Dr. Vanessa McLeod says, I agree. Jean, Chareice has always mentored me in many ways. It's about learning from each other and supporting each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought we had another question. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Chareice?
Jean Ishmael, she must have not been on the call when I talked. Hi, Jean. I did talk about DWI. Jean is the founder of DWI-BI, and Vanessa Dabney and I were the co-founders. And Jean is also the president of Northwest Indiana Reinvestment Alliance. And DWI-BI was her brainchild to be able to assist and help these women in our area, and it's been so rewarding to be able to do that. And then I want to just say thanks to Miss Vanessa. Years ago, we had a foundation within the casino. We were so excited. 2 years in a row, we had, well, not 2 years, but we had a golf outing, and we took the students, another unforgettable opportunity, and Miss Vanessa was with us. We took the students, all expense paid, for a week to President Obama's inauguration.
Wow.
And so,
Awesome.
in addition to that, a friend was friends with Oprah, and she provided gift bags for everyone. And that particular year, she treated the adults. She did her taping at the Kennedy Center, and we were invited. So again, these are all opportunities that these students would not have. And just thank you, Vanessa, for always being there, being supportive as well.
So that's awesome. Sheila, I see you unmuted yourself. So
Yeah.
I was about to open up, I'm sorry, to see if either you or Rachel had a comment, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to call out what Chareice just did. She, as a leader, shared all the credit with other people. And you just gave a perfect example of what a great leader does. A great leader doesn't say it's about me, me, me. It's about all of the people who work together in our communities to make our communities better, to look out for our young people, to give other women opportunities. It's like a classic example of leadership and sharing the credit. So I just wanted to call you out and say I couldn't have planned that better. So thank you for that. That was a beautiful thing.
Can I do some shout outs? Because there are some other leaders and good friends and supporters on the call. Mr. John Davies has always been so supportive of the foundation. And I just thank you, John, for all that you have done and continue to do. Miss Lori Felt, of course, Miss Vanessa, Vanessa Allen McLeod, Dr. Vanessa Allen McLeod, Miss Vanessa Dabney, Yolanda Davis, Michelle Golden, the wonderful, fabulous Methodist Hospital supporters, Miss Judy Lindsay and Maria Diaz. And I think I've covered the ones that I see that I know, but they're leaders as well. They're always friends of mine and being supportive. You cannot live in this life alone. And when you spell the word team, there's no I in it. It's team, and you need teamwork. You can't do it by yourself. So I appreciate that, Sheila, because that's so important to be able to, it's not about me, it's about being a blessing and how you can help others.
Really quick, before we end, can you what's your preferred contact method? If someone wants to get in contact with you, would you rather them shoot you a phone call or email, or just go to your website?
Oh, I can give you the number. It's no problem. It's area code 219-381-4092.
I'm gonna try to put that in the chat. Hold on. So you said
219-381-4092.
And then you have an email address in case for those people who would like to email you?
Sure. I'm going to give you the Celebrity Circle one so you can send me your information to be included. It's
Okay.
Celebrity, so we can come to cover your event. Celebrity Circle 2022 at gmail.com. And Makisha, just got to give a quick little shout out to Maria and to Judy at Methodist Hospital. They're working on the fabulous 100th Gala of Methodist Hospital, which is in June at Hard Rock. So we want everybody to be supportive, especially those like me that were born at Methodist. But if you weren't born at Methodist, we still will take your money to purchase a ticket, be a sponsor, and I'm giving them a shout out. I'm an advocate of Methodist Hospital.
So that's amazing. That's amazing. Keep using your influence. Keep using your superpower. That's what I call it, to inspire people and to uplift people. I'm looking around. Some people do have their cameras on, and all I'm seeing is head nods and smiles and thumbs up. And then the comments that are coming in. You didn't have many questions, but you had lots of comments that came in and just say, great job, the work that you're doing. I personally feel like you're living out your legacy right? And what a great thing that is for us to be able to see, again, the fruits of our labor and the fruits of our collective labor as well, because I see that you collaborate with lots of different walks of people, lots of different organizations. That is how we make change. It's little by little. We just bite off little piece by little piece, and we cover our little corner of the world, and we work together, holding hands. That's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna pass it back to Sheila so that she could say goodbye to us. That's it.
Makisha and Chareice, that was a lovely, lovely presentation. Your generous spirit, it was really apparent. And as a leader, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you are an example of how leaders find other leaders and pull them together as a team so that we can make change happen, as Makisha said. So thank you for that beautiful example of a life well lived, and a life lived with a lot of love for other people. So that so much about leadership and innovation that you talked about as you gave some examples from your own life. So thank you for sharing that time with us. We appreciate it. Now you've got, everyone knows how to reach you. So you might have lots of new friends, and that's really what makes Northwest Indiana such a fabulous place to live, because we all should, and many of us do, try to reach out to others and lift others up, together. So thank you for sharing that leadership with us and a bit of your own inspirational story. So thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us. We have a monthly session called Lunch and Lead. If you don't know about it, please email one of us, and we will get that to you. It's also posted on the web, and I believe it's been in the media. So we have lots of very interesting leaders who will be speaking with us over the next few months. So thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next month.